again, still your biology teacher. Remember, biology is the science of life, and provided you are a living thing, you require biology for life, for more life. Okay, I could remember in our previous class we discussed about living things. Before I proceed with today's topic of discussion, I want you to mention the characteristics of living things. Having said that, can you tell me the reasons, at least 3 reasons why living things move? Okay, with that, let us proceed with what we have today. We stopped at the characteristics of living things. I explained already the meaning of movement. Today we are going to move to the next characteristic of living things. So we have discussed about M, which is movement. We are moving to R, which is respiration. And what is respiration? Respiration is the breaking down of glucose. Glucose is the sugar or carbohydrate contained in our body. The breaking down of this glucose, this natural sugar, you know some people will go for sugar test. They run for sugar test, high sugar level, low sugar level. So that sugar in the body, the ability for that sugar to break down into a simpler unit for metabolic activities is what we call respiration. I come again. Respiration is the breaking down of glucose to release energy for life activities. Breaking down of glucose to release energy for life activities. And we have 2 types of respiration. We have the one we call aerobic respiration. We have anaerobic respiration. When you talk about aerobic respiration, it happens in the presence of oxygen. Why this one happens in the absence of oxygen? Aerobic respiration takes place in the presence of oxygen, while anaerobic respiration takes place in the absence of oxygen. Remember, breaking down of glucose to release energy for life activities. Breaking down of glucose to release energy for life activities. And remember, every living thing must respire. Then we move to the next one, which is nutrition, which is the ability of an organism to feed. Every living organism must feed. It's either we are consumers, that is heterotrophs, depending on plants for food, or they are plants, autotrophs, producing food or manufacturing food for animals to feed on. That is to say, we have 2 types of nutrition: heterotrophic nutrition and autotrophic nutrition. When it is autotrophic nutrition, it is a type of nutrition that plants manufacture their food. But when you talk of heterotrophic, that is the ability of organisms to depend on plants for food. And you know, without plants, we will not survive. Virtually everything we feed on comes from plants and some part of animals. Then we move to the next characteristics, which is irritability. And one may ask, what is irritability? If you don't call it irritability, you call it sensitivity. Then irritability is the ability of an organism to respond to both external and internal stimuli. Ability of an organism to respond to both internal and external stimuli. And what is stimuli? Stimuli is a change in the environment. Now I'm feeling hot. There is no power for me to on the AC. What do? I respond to the heat by doing what? Mechanically fanning myself. I am responding to that change now, which is what? Heat. Ability of an organism to respond to both internal and external stimuli. Now we have the other one, which is growth. increase in the size, height, weight of an organism. Irreversible increase. There was once a time when we were born, we were toddlers, very small. But look at me now, I have grown. Nothing will make me to go back to be a toddler. That is why we said irreversible increase. Or you said that it is the increase in dry mass of an organism. Then we move to excretion. The E there stands for excretion. Ability of an organism to remove unwanted substances from the body. And every living thing excretes. Animals, we excrete a lot of things. We excrete stool. We excrete heat through the skin. We excrete urine with the help of our kidney. A lot of substances are excreted from the body. Plants, they excrete also some things. Plants excrete what we call tannin, even their leaves. When the leaves are dry, they excrete it to bring about new leaves, and so on and so forth. Then we move to the second R, which is reproduction. Ability of organisms to bring new young ones that resemble their parents. Just like many of us, today we are kids. Tomorrow we will beget our own children. So the process of bringing in new organisms that resemble the old parent is what we call reproduction. And we have what we call sexual reproduction, which involves two parents, and asexual reproduction, which involves only one parent. Remember, we are treating this as characteristics of living things. In biology, they still come as a topic on their own. Then we move to the C. C is what? Competition. And what is competition? Ability for organisms to struggle for the necessity of life. Let me bring it to the Nigerian front. Imagine our new president in the ministerial, what will I say? People were vying for the ministerial seat. They competed for it. Wike was there doing this, Amechi was there doing the other one. Every other person were there doing their own. At the end of the day, the survival of the fittest happened. The people that were able to stand the competition were the ones nominated as the ministers we have today. So every living organism competes either for food, either for space, even for position, and so many other things. Our president competed with obedience, and at the end of the day, there must be a winner. Somebody is sitting on that throne, whether winner or not. But at the end of the day, the competition ended in one person assuming the office. If you come to the home front, you see some children, they drag food. They shift for me, this, that. They are doing what? Competing, which is one of the characteristics of living things. Even plants compete. There are ways you will plant something, and if they are numerous, some will grow bigger than the others. So you're wondering, is it not the same day? The ones that were able to get much nutrients will be healthy and germinate and give products that are worth it. But the ones that were not able to stand the effect may die. So that is to say that competition leads to what we call survival of the fittest. That is what competition brings about. And this can lead to what? Death. Now, even if in the poultry farmers, when a farmer brings their old chicks, 1 week old chicks, after some time you notice that some will be bigger than the others. Why? When they were feeding, some compete, some will chase others from eating. At the end of the day, the ones that struggle for more food will become fatter than the ones that were not able to come close to the food given to them. So that is that about competition. Then we move to adaptation. This is the ability of an organism to survive in its environment, or to adjust to the changes in the environment. During the hot weather, we wear cotton cloths to enable sweat not to be much on us. Then during the cold weather, we do what? Put on sweaters to protect ourselves from cold. Lower organisms also have their adaptations, like fish in the river has fins for swimming, tails for balancing, gills for breathing. But we on land, we have our legs for movement, our lungs for respiration, and so many other things. So simply put, adaptation is the ability of an organism to adjust or survive the changes in the environment. And finally, death. Death is the end of an organism, and every living organism